Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about complex numbers again. So these are some of the notes I showed you in the last video. We talked about how I is an imaginary unit, and as you can see here, I equals square root of -1, I squared equals -1, yada yada yada. We talked about complex numbers, some basic concepts here, we talked about all of that. So in this video today, I'm just going to be running through a bunch of complex number problems, and we're going to be doing that. So the first problem I have here is 2 plus 6i. So right now what we're going to want to do with this is graph this complex number as a vector in the complex plane. So how we're going to do that is I'm going to draw the little graph here. Okay, so this is x and this is y, and we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is -1, -2, -3. You get the drill. That's 6, 1. That's -1, -6. Okay, so if standard form is 2 plus 6i, we have to put this in x plus y form. So in this, our real number 2 here is going to stand for x plus yi, since that is standard form of a complex number. So x plus yi. So in this case, 2 is the x unit and 6 is the y unit. So if we go 2x plus 6 of y, then our vector will be here. And that is the final answer. Now, for our next question, we're going to do a simpler one. Going to find the sum of 3 minus 4i and -2i. So this is really simple. We just align it like so. 3 minus 4i plus -2i, -6i, 3. 3 minus 6i is your answer for that one. Our next question. This one is definitely a lot more complicated. So right now, we're going to take this 12 times the cosine of 135 plus I times the sine of 135. And we're going to take this complex number and put it in rectangular form. So, first thing we have to know is, first thing we're going to do to solve this, my bad for moving around so much. Okay, so we're going to do 12 times cosine of 135, so that's going to be 12 cosine 135 degrees, by the way, don't forget that, plus 12 times the sine of 135 I. And we're just going to put I at the end there for reference because, we're trying to put this into A plus BI form, okay? So ignore that. So we know that the cosine of 135 is, oh my gosh, why am I so slanted? I have to think about it. Cosine of 135 plus 90 equals 45. That's 45. Oh, negative square root of 2 over 2. And then that will be 12 times negative square root of 2 over 2. So that's going to be -12 square square root of 2 over 2. So that's just going to be negative 6 times the square root of 2. Plus, we have to solve for this. So sine of 135 is going to be positive square root of 2 over 2 times 12. So that's going to be the same thing here, but positive. So that's going to be 6i, because we can't forget about that I, times the square root of 2. So that is our final answer. This is in a plus bi form. Negative 6 times the square root of 2 plus 6i times the square root of 2. And that's our final answer. And now we're going to do the opposite. Or actually, we're going to do the same thing. It's just going to look a little bit different. So what we did up here was a number, and we took it and put it into rectangular form. So as you can see, cosine, sine I. When you see cis like this, it means cosine and sine times I. Okay? So this equation is going to be just like this one up here in that form, and it's going to look like 9 times a cosine of 300 plus I times the sine of 300. So we know that the sine of 300 is going to be blah, 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 blah. Hold on, let me think about it. Sine of 300 is going to be, cosine of 300 is going to be positive 1/2, I believe. And then sine of 300 is going to be negative square root of 3 over 2. So this is going to come out to be 9 over 2 once we multiply it. And then it's going to be, let's see, negative 9 times the square root of 3 over 2. Yeah, so it's going to be negative 9i times the square root of 3 over 2. Not bad, I was just testing things out right there, but that's the final answer. Okay? We're going to do one more of those kinds of problems. So now we're going to do the opposite of those problems. So right now we have a complex number, but we want to write it in a trigonometric form of cis. So this is our complex number, and we want it to be in this form. And here's what we're going to do to get it there. So the first thing we remember is that r equals square root of x squared plus y squared. And in this case, that's x, and this is y. So in today's case, x will be negative 1. And y will also be negative 1. So negative 1 squared is 1 plus 1, 2 square root of 2. So r is going to equal square root of 2. So we have r, and now we're going to use tangent to help us find those values, those angle values. So we know that the tangent of theta is going to equal y over x. And in this case, y is negative 1 and x is also negative 1. So in this case, the tangent of theta is 1. And when the tangent of theta equals 1, we know that that is going to be about 45 degrees when the tangent of theta equals 1. So we also have to consider that this when graphed as a vector on the graph, on an XY graph, we know that this is going to be located somewhere in the third quadrant because it has a negative x value and a negative y value. So we're going to take 45 and add 180. So 180 plus 45 is 225, which tells us that in this case, this trigonometric form, in this form of -1 minus I, is going to be square root of 2 times the cosine of 225 plus I times the sine of 225. And if we worked with it backwards, just like how we did that one, so let me work with it backwards. Cosine of 225 is going to be negative square root of 2 over 2 plus negative square root of 2 over 2 times, so that's just going to be 2 divided by 2 equals -1 plus square root of 2 times that. That's also going to be -1 times I, negative I, which brings us back to -1 minus I. And that's how we check our work and get the right answer. Can we solve that? And here's how we do it. Split it up into a complex number and a rational number. Okay, so square root of -1 equals I. Square root of 100 equals 10. So the answer is 10I. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the video and feel like you learned something. I sure did. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. I didn't finish writing. Thank you for watching. Smiley face. Okay, goodbye.